Hey everybody, good morning. It's Justice for Comics. I did a live stream yesterday, and I played a song at the beginning of the stream. And usually YouTube doesn't bother me with copyright, but man, lately they are just the biggest freaking bastards. I hate YouTube. They pulled my video, wouldn't let me air it. So for anybody that was on the live stream, you had an exclusive viewing. I'm not going to redo it. What are you going to do? It just, YouTube sucks. That's my commentary on that. All right. Well, even CBR has to post an article about Tiger King. I mean, what the hell is going on with this world? I mean, I get it that we're all bored and we're at home, and many of us are used to being out and about. And instead, we are quarantined and we're watching mindless, insane shows like Tiger King. I did watch it. It is like watching a slow train wreck. So I get why people are into the show. I mean, crazy has always been interesting and entertaining. It's just the way it was. But in the old days, I'm talking the carnival days, where basically there was no movies. The entertainment was going to the local carnival. They always had a crazy person in attendance in a cage. Why? Because it was entertaining. This is your modern day version of let's look at the crazy person in the cage. So there you go. So apparently Netflix is going to be airing an extra episode probably in the next month. But yeah, this is blown up. This guy, I don't know if he ever gets out of prison. It sounds like he's in there for 20-some years. I don't know. Yeah, can you imagine the media circus? If he was out of jail right now, it'd be insane. Well, I did this video not because I want to talk about Tiger King. I really don't care about that. I'm going to review a comic book, Dear Becky, The Boys, Dear Becky. So this is the Carla Cohen exclusive. Very nice cover. I have a couple issues of The Boys originally. I think I have issue 3 and 5. I know there's some first appearances in those issues. Garth Ennis, some of his writing I like. Some of it is just absolutely terrible. This is absolutely terrible. So, first of all, the dialogue. There's a lot of freaking dialogue. I mean, is this guy becoming Bendis or something? I mean, it's a lot of freaking dialogue. So he's in this bar, and Huey's the main character, and this other transgender. Of course, you got to have a transgender in a comic book now, named Bobby. Obviously, very butchy, transgender. And, so basically this is after the main story of The Boys, where the superheroes were trying to overthrow the U.S. It went bad. Most of them were destroyed. And now this is post-superhero world, so really no superheroes anymore. It goes into a lot of just SJW woke crap in this comic book. Mentions Brexit, there's a lot of politics in this, which I guess I didn't realize Garth Ennis was, I thought he was sort of fairly normal. I didn't know he dove into politics, but he references it several times in the issue. He references the Brexit, which, by the way, everybody in England loves that they're leaving the European Union. So, sorry, Garth, you're in the minority on that. And most people in England, I know a lot of people from England, they love Boris Johnson, who I guess is in the hospital right now with supposedly the flu. We'll say it's the flu. I don't know if it's been diagnosed yet. But just a lot of dialogue. It reeks of SJW. they're sitting here having a talk, and you can't hardly understand anything. You know, obviously he's writing it in a very thick Scottish accent, so it's a little tough to follow. You know, they're talking about, oh, the world's still, you know, half the bloody planet's on fire. Obviously, referencing the Australian fires. You got a dickhead in the White House. We all know who that's talking about. And effing Brexit. And then this trans guy throws a beer can, a tin beer can, into, I guess it's the ocean there. I'm assuming they're off the coast of Scotland here. Throws it into the ocean, and you know, you can't leave that there, and you'll spoil the place, and bits of plastic will be floating, and dead seals. First of all, that's not plastic; it's tin, and if that can kills a seal, that's called evolution. That seal wasn't smart enough to survive anyways, and probably should be dead. So, this thing is just. It's just absolute garbage. Man, I am super disappointed. I bought it mainly because of the cover art. I love Carla Cohen's artwork. She's fabulous. So I'm going to keep it because I love the cover. But man, the inside is absolutely forgettable. I do not recommend buying this comic book. I think it's just trash. Garth Ennis, who I do like his grittiness, and he's not afraid to shock you a little bit, which I like that element of his writing. But man, I guess I didn't realize he is so woke in SJW, and I mean, it's like he's purposely trying to appeal to a demographic that is absolutely a minority in the comic book industry. And I tell you, if you're a comic book creator and you stumble across this video, which I doubt you will, I don't think any of them care to hear what people that actually buy their product have to say. I really don't think they care. But let's say on an odd chance that someone like Garth Ennis stumbles across this video, I am going to post it, and I'll hashtag his name. But let's say he stumbles across this video. Understand this. Infusing your political opinions into comic books is not going to help you sell comic books. I get it. You have a reputation. You've been in the industry a long time. You've obviously done some great things. And that's the excuse, I guess, for somebody who's made it, right? I mean, you could easily say Garth Ennis has made it. He's had development deals. He's the writer of Preacher, which I loved. I mean, I loved Preacher. There was nothing like what's in this book that was in Preacher. If anything, Preacher was fantastic because it was so politically incorrect. And that's what I loved about it. So this book is absolute crap, and Garth Ennis should be ashamed that he even wrote this. That's my opinion. And if you're a comic book creator and you stumble across this video, understand this. The comic book industry is changing, and the old way of doing things, writing about politics, being a SJW weirdo, is not going to work going forward. I think there's a monumental shift that's going to happen in the comic book industry. I think you're going to see more and more creators who are fan-friendly, meaning even if I wrote something that somebody disagreed with, I would, and I was a creator, and somebody in Twitter commented or said something to me, I basically would be just like, well, I appreciate you buying the issue anyways. I wouldn't argue with them and berate them and call them racists. And this is a major issue in the comic book industry that they do not realize is there. If they do realize it, then that shows you how evil they are. They don't give a crap. I'm hoping most of them are just that dumb that they don't realize that attacking your fans, attacking people that buy your comic books, and trying to force your political view into storylines is a waste of time. You're not going to do well with that strategy. So, will I be buying issue number 2 of Dear Becky? Hell no. Nope. Even if Carla Cohen does a beautiful cover, I won't buy it. Obviously, I didn't know that the story was that terrible until I started to read it, and yeah, it's pretty bad. So, my comic book habits. I like to buy stuff that I enjoy to read. Obviously, I've bought stuff that I regretted buying. This is, I think, one of these issues where I definitely regret buying this. But I love the cover. So I'm kind of torn. I do love the artwork on the cover, but the inside might as well be blank pages, in my opinion. So that's my take. That's my review. I haven't done too many comic book reviews. After I just read this, I was like, oh, I got to comment on this. This is crap. So Garth Ennis, I hope you watch this. You probably won't, I'm sure. But go back to just writing gritty, shocking, extremely violent comic books where, the bad guy kills the villain. And, basically most of Garth Ennis's work is, here's a bad guy, look all the terrible things he's done, and here's the payback. It's all about payback. This was just absolute crap. Oh well. So I'm on my rant. That's my rant about Dear Becky. Don't buy it. That's my recommendation to you. Instead, go watch Tiger King if you're really that bored. Yeah, this is man. I think we're all ready for this to end. Get back to a normal existence. If we can actually do that at some point. Yeah, but not a whole lot more going on in the comic book world. It's pretty quiet out there. It's interesting. Some of these companies are still going to be coming up with top 10 lists, even though there's nothing coming out. I don't know. Like last week's top 10 list from CBSI was basically just a want list from a guy named Ben that works at CBSI. So yeah, that's the kind of shit we're gonna get for a while here, is just a bunch of drivel. Here's some news. Diamond to pay comic book publishers 25% as leadership takes a 50% pay cut. Wow, all right. So leadership, is that the guy that runs the business? What's his name? The Gambino? Steve Jeppy. So he released a statement today, April 4th. Okay, April 4th. This is a few days ago. He outlined his plan, which will see partial payments delivered to publishers. 25% of the weekly amount due under your contract terms, continuing for 6 weeks. 75% that is deferred and will be paid back in equal payments over a 13-week period. Jeppy also stated that Diamond's leadership team will be accepting a 50% salary cut. Wow, how generous of him. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see Diamond absolutely destroyed, just because, they're a monopoly. They control all comic book distributions. There's no competitor. There needs to be. The fact that they're able to fight that legally and no one else can really run against them. I wish for the demise of Diamond, to be honest. I would love to see them completely destroyed, bankrupt. Steve Jeppy, I'd love to see him lose all of his money. I think he's a crook. They've screwed over so many people over the years. Don't take my word for it. You can Google all the people that have been screwed by Diamond. You can get long explanations from people on how they got absolutely destroyed by the unethical way that they do business. So I hope this year that the health crisis destroys this company and the comic book publishers wake up and realize that they need to do their own distribution and maybe start sending comic books to newsstands and comic book shops. I mean, think about this. Comic book shops have really had no competition in the way of comic books, right? It basically, there was no newsstands. The last, what, 3 or 4 years, I think maybe 3 years ago was the last time that you could buy a newsstand copy of a comic book. Barnes and Noble, this is to my knowledge, I could be wrong, but the last time I saw a comic book available in a retail store, not at a comic book shop, was, I remember it distinctly because I went out and drove around all these Barnes and Nobles stores, and I picked up like 12 copies of Batman number 24. It was the infamous Tom King run where Batman had proposed to Catwoman, and it was the proposal issue. That book flew up in value immediately. I drove around to 6 or 7 different Barnes and Nobles in the Tampa, St. Pete area and bought up, at each store, I think each Barnes and Noble would get like 3 copies. So I ended up I think I had like 18 or 20 issues of that book, and I sold more than half of them. I did really well. I think I sold them for about $20 a piece, and I paid $4 for each one. That was the last time I remember seeing a comic book that you could buy technically as a newsstand copy, right? Everything since then, comic book shops, really the last 3 years, they've had the entire market. There's been no competition for them. Yeah, you could say, well, Walmart. Well, no, not Walmart, because Walmart's not selling. DC has a distribution deal with Walmart. I know Marvel has one, but they're not the same comic books anyways. They're specifically designed to be sold in Walmart. So that, to me, that's not competition. But there really hasn't been any competition for local comic book shops for the distribution of comic books. And that needs to change, in my opinion. I'd love to see Diamond go away. I would love to see comic books being sold again. And which means for that to happen, the price would probably have to go down. 7-Eleven, are they 7-Eleven going to sell $4 comic books? Probably not. I would love to see comic books sold around maybe $1.50, $2 again. And yeah, that means cheaper quality paper. I think the industry would do better if they kind of went back to basics, the way stuff was in the past. I don't know. Those are my thoughts. I think the industry would do better if there were multiple distribution methods. There was a way to appeal to younger comic book readers. I don't know. I mean, maybe we can never go back. I mean, maybe that's just the way it is. I don't know. I'd like to see publishers like DC and Marvel actually step up, though, and realize that we can't be held hostage by a distributor like Diamond. We've got to have a plan A, B, and C for distributing our product. Think about it. If Diamond decides we're not distributing comic books for the next 2 months, what's plan B for DC and Marvel? They have no plan B. There was no plan B. And look what it's doing to the comic book industry. It's destroying it. Look what it's doing to local comic book shops. They are in massive trouble. I mean, I can only imagine the amount of applications for small business loans right now by local comic book shops. They need cash to survive. And if they don't get that cash, they're not going to make it. So, this is a fundamental problem that is being exposed, and I really hope that there's a fundamental change here to the comic book industry, and for the better. All right, that's my rant for the day. It's Tuesday, almost 20 minutes here. I hope all of you have a great week. I will be doing another video probably on Thursday. I think Thursday is going to be my whiskey, cigar, and comic show. I will have a guest on that show by the name of Tim. He's another YouTuber. Him and his wife have a channel. I think the channel is called The Marvelous T and G. So I think this Thursday I'll be on on a live stream with him, talking comic books, hanging out. I think we'll both be smoking cigars, probably both drinking a little bit of whiskey, and laid back atmosphere. Yeah, we'll have a good time. So I'll send out a notification on that in the next day or so everybody knows way ahead of time. Hope everybody has a good day, and I'll see you soon.